Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sue Coulson. I work under several different hats. Crystal Clear Energy is my business where I work with crystals, I teach about crystals, I do healing with crystals, and this event is organised under that banner. I have another business that I started this year called Cosmic Classroom, which is designed to bring through the energies and share with you the energies of the channeled information that I get from the light beings that are my guides. And that energy and that information is shared through workshops and through my website and blogs and things. And I also work outside regularly with the Stone Circle. One for a project, come and take a seat. One with a project that's about sensing the energy, which is called Psychic Survey. And through collecting that information over the last 5 or 6 years of how the energy shifts and changes in the Stone Circle with the effects of the moon and the sun and the planets, I use that information to share that information with you all through spiritual experiences where we do outdoor events and outdoor meditations within the stones and sacred sites around this area. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I do. And today I really wanted to talk to you about all of it because it's all so relevant to the cosmic energies that we've got going on today. We've got, as I spoke about first thing this morning, we've got a lunar eclipse going to happen as we get towards the end of this talk, and I plan for us to do meditation together in that space to connect to the cosmic energies. But I want to talk a little bit about what that means, because within our solar system there's obviously the planets that share their orbit with our sun, and they all resonate specifically with some crystals, in the same way that Janelle has been talking to you this morning about the crystals that resonate with the zodiac signs, where the sun lines up with the stars in the background. We have crystals that actually resonate strongly with the planets. So I wanted to talk to you about those quickly. There's another little seat, that's okay. It's my camera. That's no problem. So we're going to talk first of all about the sun. If we want to connect to the energy of the sun, a great way to do that is with pyrite. So this is a pyrite sphere. It can help to bring through the masculine qualities and the fire qualities that the sun holds. And it actually grows naturally in these circular shapes called pyrite suns. Which is very sparkly and very beautiful. So that's one way to connect with the energy of the sun. All of the planets were originally associated with metals. So in the middle 1600s, there was a guy called William Lilly, who was an astrologer, who associated all of the planets in the inner planet system that they knew about at that time. There's a seat in here, my love. Were assigned to metals. So the metal that is assigned to the sun is gold. Now I haven't bought a big chunk of gold with me, unfortunately, today. But I bought this. This is aqua aura quartz, which combines the energy of quartz with gold. It's a man-made stone. But it's made in a way that actually enhances both properties. They place quartz in a chamber that's filled with microscopic particles of gold, and they electrically charge this and heat it at the same time, heat the quartz, so that the gold particles actually molecularly bond to the quartz. Quartz is a natural amplifier of energy, and so it amplifies the energy of the gold. So this is a nice stone to connect with for the sun. For the moon, I brought moonstone with me today. The metal for the moon is silver, but moonstone embodies so much of the feminine energy that we associate with the lunar energy, that this is a beautiful way to connect with the moon energy. So we're going to be connecting with that a bit today, aren't we, whether we like it or not, because it's all happening up there. I'm just going to rattle through the planets for you first, and then we'll get into a bit of that. The crystal that I brought with me to demonstrate Mercury, which is the planet closest to the Sun, is called cinnabar. It's something that you can use with care, with respect, but it is mercury sulfide, so it needs to be handled a little bit. You know, it's not something you really want to give to kids. You want to wash your hands after you've handled it. It is toxic, so it's not something you want to wear next to your skin all the time. But to doing metaphysical work with, if you're placing it on your body as a crystal layout over your clothes, that's completely fine. But as I said, just be careful to wash your hands with it. It helps. Mercury is about travel, it's about communication, it's about trade. So if we want to connect with those planetary aspects that are around us, then this can help us with that. The next planet in our solar system is Venus. Most people know a little bit about Venus, even if it's just the fact that it brings in love. But the metal that's associated with it, because everybody knows about the love side of it, is copper. So the copper spheres are very helpful for helping us to connect to the Mercury energy. Those of you that struggle, perhaps if you've got Mercury in an aspect in your birth chart that is in conflict when we're in Mercury retrograde, copper can help to bring clearer energies through. Because we have, sorry. You're right, we are doing Venus, sorry. But Venus goes retrograde as well. This will help us with that. It will help us.
So that's Venus?
This is Venus, yes. I'm very sorry, I'm getting myself all muddled up, aren't I? Thank you. Now I'm all embarrassed. So just let me get over my hot flush. So yeah, copper. Copper is a good conductor of energy, and it can help us to bring in clear vibrations of the cosmic energies as well as the Venus one. But because Venus is about heart-centered awareness, I brought a little piece of malachite. Malachite is a copper mineral that resonates strongly with the heart chakra, so that's a good way to connect in with the copper energies in our bodies. The next one, we're going to skip the Earth for a moment, and we're going to talk about Mars, if I can remember to talk about Mars. Mars, the metal that's associated with Mars is iron. So I brought this little piece of hematite with us today. Hematite is just one of the iron ore minerals that is available to us to work with. And I brought this one specifically because we find quite a lot of iron around this area. This particular one is not, it's from Cumbria, but it's still from England. We also have another option, which is something I do want to share with us today, called bloodstone. How many of you have ever worked with bloodstone before? It's also called heliotrope, and it's the stone that resonates with Mars, as I said, but Mars is the ruler of Aries, one of the zodiac signs. Who was here this morning? Did Janelle speak about, did she speak about this?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she would. Because it's the classic birthstone for Aries. Now today's astrology, we've got lots of planets going on in Aries today. I'm going to get into that in just a little minute. I'm going to show you planetary aspects of the day. But I wanted you all to have the opportunity to connect with the energy of bloodstone. So if you'd like to pass those around and take one, and they can work their way around the room so that you all get one of those for when we do our meditation later today. We're going to be connecting in with that. Have you got one? Excellent. She's got one already. Excellent. So, Jupiter is the next planet in our solar system. It's the one with the rings. It's about expanding our consciousness, and the metal that's associated with it is called is tin, and the metal ore that we associate with tin is called cassiterite. It's this shiny, sparkly stone. We've found quite a lot of tin in our country, especially in Cornwall. And this stone, which I'm going to have to look up because I can never remember how to say it without looking it up, I'm afraid. Luxulinanite, which is a type of granite that comes from Cornwall, and it contains mica, feldspar, tourmaline, and also cassiterite, which is the tin aspect of it. So that's much easier for us to work with than you can use cassiterite if you want to, but I thought I'd bring some of those along today.
So what was the other crystal? I couldn't hear you.
This one.
No, the other one.
Cassiterite.
Cassiterite.
Yes.
So is that granite quite radioactive?
No.
It's not? Okay.
Shouldn't be.
The granite in Cornwall's meant to be more kind of radioactive, isn't it?
Okay, I haven't actually got my Geiger counter out to find out, but I will. So we also associate amethyst with that planet, which might be slightly easier for people to get hold of if you can't get hold of the tin ores. So Saturn is a big influence in our solar system. It's one of the biggest bodies in the solar system other than the Sun. And its metal is lead. And so I brought with me today galena, which is lead oxide. Again, it's one of those crystals that you would need to wash your hands with. All the metals are heavy metals, which we need to be a little bit careful about how much that we get into our system. But it's really good at helping us to connect with all aspects of our being, is what I would say for this. It helps us to grow, and to grow upwards we also have to grow roots and grow downwards. We have to be able to embrace what we call our shadows, our fears, and all of those things we try to shove in a corner. And galena is really good at helping bring those to the surface and helping us to see them and to deal with them.
Do you ever find that polished in this?
No.
No.
It's very soft, so it really doesn't hold the shape awfully well. Uranus is the first one in the outer planets, as we call them, and they're the gas giants basically, and sorry, I'm getting distracted. The one I brought to show you for that one is quartz. As I'm sure you all know, quartz is readily available on our planet. A lot of the planet's made of quartz. And their crystals grow beautifully to help us with the transitions that Uranus sort of brings up for us. So quartz is a really good one for working with that. Neptune is our next planet. It's the ruler of Pisces, and it's about more of our intuition and our dreams and psychic abilities. There's no metals associated with the outer planets because the guy that wrote the book in the middle of 1600s didn't know about the outer planets. So this is just purely which crystals we've chosen in the modern world to connect with them. This is a piece of Neptunite. Neptunite comes from California and grows naturally with another stone of high vibration called benevolent and naturalite. And they really do help us to raise our vibration and to connect with that more ethereal aspect of our being. And then finally, we've got good old Pluto. Whether we're classing it as a planet or not, I don't know. I am at the moment. It's the smallest body that goes around the outside of our solar system. And the thing that resonates with that most strongly is obsidian. Obsidian, as I'm sure you mostly know, is a natural glass made from a volcano that spews lava onto the surface of the earth, and it cools so quickly that it doesn't have time to crystallise. So it's technically not even a crystal, but it does resonate strongly with transformational energy, which is what Pluto is about for us. So this one will help us again to bring up our shadows and to step through the process of rebirth. It's like bringing up all that hot magma and hot stuff from the centre of the earth and letting it settle. So this will help us to do that. So that's the little bit I wanted to talk to you about, those crystals. And then I wanted to talk to you about the earth. Because when we talk about cosmic energies, well, when I talk about cosmic energies, I don't just mean the stars and the planets around us, although of course they are relevant, but we have to remember that we actually live on a planet. We live on a living, breathing organism, which is the earth. Part of my work, as I said in my introduction, is connecting with the energies of the earth. And right here in Avebury, we have got a very special site because we have some powerful currents of energy that flow around the planet, come right through this place. In fact, you're sitting right on top of one of them. How many of you know a little bit about ley lines and earth currents? Some of you do, some of you don't. Okay. There's a global grid of energy system that encompasses the planet. There's what we could call major artery lines, if you like, that go through the earth as earth currents. Much like we have energy currents going through our bodies. If you're all healers, you know about our chakras, you know about the flow that goes up through our bodies and comes back down through our bodies. And where those two serpentines of energy cross, we end up with a point of energy that we call our chakras. It emanates energy from our bodies and receives energy from the outside world. It's our energy communication system. Well, our planet has similar system going through it. There is a line of energy, a straight line energy, that goes across England called the Michael line. It goes from Cornwall up to the east coast in East Anglia. And it's been was originally discovered as a straight line, but two dowsers discovered in the late 1980s, early 1990s, that by dowsing it, that there's actually two flows of energy intertwine around that straight line projection, which they class the Michael and the Mary flow of the Michael line. And they do a similar shape to our chakras. They flow in a caduceus manner across the country, and where they cross we have what we call a node point, which is similar to our chakras. And at very special sites, sacred sites usually, whether they be stone circles or whether they be churches or natural rock outcrops, we have powerful influence of earth currents there. Well, Avebury sits right in the centre of that line as it goes across our country. And it does some very special things here. It's not that common for these currents to cross, and they don't run parallel to each other anywhere except out here in the stone circle. And we have three cross points within the Avebury complex. One is on the top of Windmill Hill, which is to the northwest of where we sit right now, and the two currents, the masculine and the feminine currents, cross there. They pull apart again and they come into the circle, and then they join together in what's called the cove stones, which are the two big stones that you can see opposite the pub car park. They join together there, they don't cross until they get to the obelisk, which is in the centre of the field that's got the most stones in it, that's opposite the front door to the pub, if you like. In that field there, there's a central stone, which once upon a time was a big, tall, phallic-shaped stone holding the masculine energy. And it's the centre point where these two no points cross. And then they continue through the south gates before they part again to go on their separate routes up to the sanctuary, which was another stone circle, which is marked out by the West Kennet Avenue up to the sanctuary, about 1.5 miles away. It was lined with stones, and at the top there's another stone circle. And again, the lines cross at 90 degrees there. So why is this important? It's important because we can, from here, we can clearly connect to this planetary energy in a really powerful way. We get to feel these flows of energy coming through the earth, and it encircles the earth. It doesn't just stop when it gets to Land's End and when it gets to East Anglia, it goes around the planet. And so we are directly connected and directly influencing the heart chakra energy of our planet, because it is associated with England. So it's a powerful place to be. Now, my research has discovered that these energy currents are very much influenced by the astrological happenings. I first started coming to Avebury regularly in 2007, and I was coming here almost every day. I used to come for an evening walk, whatever time of day that was, and I followed the sunset, so I would come an hour before sunset and walk around the circle. Well, I noticed that things didn't always feel the same, and I was interested in energy. I'd been studying my crystal healing, and I help people now to hold crystals and to learn how, when you hold a crystal, how it feels in your body. And so I was curious as to what was happening with the stone circles out here, if each stone had its own unique energy or if they were just all doing the same job. And I found that they all do have something unique happening with them. They all have a specific function in the same way that the different crystals that we work with have a function, in the way that they interact with our bodies. But I found that by coming over the period of a year, that they weren't always all switched on. Some places were more active than others at different times. And so in 2010 I started a project called the Psychic Survey, where I would enlist many good folks just like yourself, whether they knew anything about what they were doing or not, and just say, you know, just go and touch this stone and tell me how you feel. Or we do a little meditation and we tune in and see if we get any psychic messages. It's slightly more esoteric than the usual studies that's happening with the stones out there. But by collating all that information, I've found that specific things do happen. And also we've managed to get a bit of an understanding of what's going on with the influence of the planets and the influence mainly of the sun and the moon on the circle, of which parts are active and which parts aren't. So today, I've been out there already to have a quick go, and I've discovered that the feminine line, the Mary line, is much more active today than its masculine counterpart, which kind of makes some sense to me because we're dealing with the lunar energies of the full moon, and so I'm hoping that we can hook into that a little bit when we do our tour. But the masculine energies are there, but the masculine energies are all about fire today. We've got, I'm going to get my little chart, I don't know if any of you will be able to really see this. This is today's astrology chart. Can you see that a little bit from the back? And what it's telling us is that we've got the Sun, we've got Uranus and we've got Mercury, all in Aries. We've also got, opposite that, we've got the Moon. We've got, in another fire sign, we've got Jupiter in Leo, and we've got Saturn in Sagittarius, making this fire trine. So that's kind of activating our inner get up and go and our fire to get on and do things. And we're kind of tempering that a little bit with the fact that we've got two major planets. We've got Venus and Mars are in Taurus today, which is the earth sign. So for me, that is telling us that we are bringing all the active energy and all the expansion that's going on right now, we need to bring it into the earth. The bloodstone that I've given you is helping us to remember that. It's about bringing that energy down to the ground. It's very active energy, but it's reminding us to ground it so that we can be here now, fully present. Being those active, creating beings that we are, but bringing that energy to the earth rather than just letting it be dreams. So you all are, I can tell, very in tune with what's going on. You've all done some work to expand yourself and embrace who you are at your core by doing some inner work, by letting go of some of your fears and blocks. And it's about really being authentically who we are at this time, to bring our best talents and our best gifts to the earth so that we can promote some change for positiveness for ourselves and those around us. So I'm just checking the time to see where we're at, because we're going to be doing a meditation. So I wanted to talk to you about the crystals that help us to expand. Because we just said how important that is. I'm just making sure we have time to do that bit. Connecting to the earth where we physically are, for me, is important. And so I'd like to introduce you to some local crystals that are helpful for expansion. This one's called, well, it's two ways round of saying it. It's either Celesta barite or baro celestite. It's a combination of two minerals, as you can probably tell. It grows in these banded shapes, and it comes from Chipping Sodbury, which is not too far away from here, really. Back in history, and not that long ago in history, around that area and around Yate was the biggest mining production of celestine and barite. Those mines have now been closed, and Yate shopping centres right slap bang on top of the old mine. But these stones can really help us to expand our awareness of cosmic consciousness. They're used for shamanic journey stones because they help to raise our vibration and take us out of ourselves. This is celestine. No, it's not. Selenite, sorry, I'm losing my mind today, I think. It's just all the high vibration crystals. Although this one is not local, there is a significant amount of celestine. No, what am I saying? What am I doing? Selenite under the earth around this area. When they were digging in Caen to put the new road bypass in, they found some of this. Also around Seend and on the edge of Melksham, I know that they found it when they were doing road cuts, so there's quite a lot in this area. Again, it does really help to raise your vibration and help you to enter a space of other places. This is one of the stones that originally helped me to connect with my guides, which we're going to talk about a little bit in a minute. Anybody seen one of these before? Yeah. This is called a stellar beam calcite. Again, not particularly remarkable in its growth habit. You can find these, but this shape helps us to connect to higher vibrations, and especially to multidimensional energies and to the star beings and light beings. Apophyllite is another really high vibration mineral that I like to work with a lot. for the same reason. It really raises your vibration and helps you to change in that way. But I think the biggest one for me has been this one, which is called Metamorphosis Quartz. It comes from Brazil, from one specific mine, and it's got one of those peculiar trademark copyright name things on it, but it is just quartz, but it's got some special optical qualities to it, and the energy of it is really quite unique. Personally, I have a set of 8 of these, and I meditate with them on each of my chakra points, and I find that they expand my energy beyond anything else that I've ever worked with. And it's beautiful energy, and I really like it. I use these in my crystal arrays that I make. In my crystal workshops, we make shapes on the floor, which we sit inside to meditate, to raise the vibration of the space. And this is always one that I use. But as I said earlier, if we're going to go up, if we want to go to new heights and reach new energies and expand ourselves upwards, it's really important that we remember to ground ourselves, to remember that we live on this planet, and we can't expand fully upwards unless our roots go really strongly down, because we'll just get knocked over. So one of the stones to use that is easy to understand how this one works, this is petrified wood. And it connects us strongly with the earth energies. With that, you can imagine the tree. You know, the tree can't go up unless the tree can go down with its roots. So this one really helps us to do that in both ways. And then this one is surprisingly grounding, but also very nurturing to the fact that we are here locally. This is a piece of Wiltshire flint. Any of you that are local have been out and about walking, you've probably stubbed your toe on a big chunk of this somewhere, especially up on the ridgeway. But it can really help to solidify, because this is what this does. It's basically a type of quartz. This is chalcedony, however you say it. So it's a silica, it's a type of quartz. But it has a grounding effect and a stabilising effect that can help us when we're doing our expansion meditations. Part of my exploring around the stones that I told you about just a little while ago, I started to come into contact with unusual lights, shall we say. There was one specific stone in the stone circle I was always drawn to go and lean on towards the end of my journey around the circle, when I was doing it every day. Whenever I leaned on it and closed my eyes, I would see a colour. It was like a purpley pinky colour, and it would be a pulsing shape that kind of did this, a bit like a swimming jellyfish. And it was a really long time after that I first started seeing these shapes that I found out what they were. What they turned out to be were my spirit guides. These are the Palladian higher dimensional light beings that I now work with, that I now channel, and that give me lots of lovely information to share with all of you guys through my work. I only know this because they told me, and I know this because they told me initially through another medium. My friend outside, Dawn Henderson, and I started working together. I invited her, because she's obviously into crystals, she's got a crystal shop, but I asked her if she'd ever done a journey meditation within a crystal array, which is the kind of workshops that I've been doing, and she said that she hadn't, so I invited her to come along to one. And the thing that happened for her was, normally I guide people on what I call a journey meditation. So I guide you into a deep meditative state, and then ask guides to come in and to share with us any images or messages that they have. This is usually interpreted as like, well, I can see this, or I'm being shown this, or I get this inner knowing. What happened when I first worked with Dawn was this being came so strongly to her that she was able to channel the information straight away. and I was just standing there having a conversation with a light being, which was a bit of a weird experience for both of us, to be perfectly honest, the first time that it happened. Because it's like, well, what do you ask a higher dimensional being when you actually have one right in front of you and you can ask them whatever you like? So I asked lots of questions, and well, some of them were about Avebury and how the stones were placed here and what's the significance of the energy here. And I got good confirmation through at that time that the stones were placed here to mark the special energies that are on this site, that the people that place them there know about, and that they are to be utilised for our raising our vibration and for connecting with the light beings, with higher dimensional consciousness. So that was very reassuring. What happened next was I introduced my friend Dawn to my crystal skull. My crystal skull is called Tony, which sounds like, you know, a normal name. Everybody always laughs, but he goes to me, you know, the first time he said my name is Tony, I was like, you know, everybody else is called Heart Star or Starry something, and mine's called Tony. And he goes, well, it's not just Tony, it's tone, vibration, shades of black and white. Well, he is black and white. So for me, the basalt in him is really grounding, and the quartz within him is really expanding. So he holds you in this space that really expands and connects to your heart centre. It's a very loving, expanding experience. It's hard to explain unless you feel it. And so with your heart open, the first thing that happens is you just get these wonderful connections from these amazing energies that are all about love. So I found that by you holding this, I could have the same effect and connect with those purple light beings without having to stand outside in the rain. And I introduced him to Dawn, and Dawn was getting similar experiences, and so we worked together regularly. We would meet every Monday and do a question and answer thing. She'd be channeling and I would be asking questions. For the most part, this is what this little book's all about. This is Dawn's book called Star Speak. Some of it is not anything to do with me, some of it's questions she's asked herself, but a fair chunk of this is questions that have been answered that I've asked from the light beings. So it's well worth a look if you're interested in any of that.
Is it for sale here, sir?
It is, yes. This little skull's recently come to me. His name at the moment, or its name at the moment, is just Pinky, because I don't know what else to call it. It's not told me a name. But it's made of rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite is really activating to the heart chakra, and it's very nurturing and supportive to your whole energy system. It helps us to open our hearts and to embrace self-love, because really we can't connect through love and through the energetic field that connects to our heart centre unless we are thoroughly able to connect to ourselves and love ourselves completely. So I would highly recommend these little guys if you come across one. It doesn't have to be a skull, but this just brings in really beautiful, heart-centred, star-being energy. I'm just going to check the time again. No, we're okay. So when we connect through the earth, through our hearts, we connect into what I call the cosmic field, where we are fully expanded by grounding and by expanding upwards. We've embraced self-love. We are then connected through the void of space and time to all energies, and we are able to bring that energy back with us to earth. The special places we talked about, like Avebury, have the earth currents going through them. We also, I'm just going to mention Stonehenge. It's a very different energy to Avebury. If any of you have been there, I'm sure you can feel the difference. And I've recently, I'm sharing something quite new with you that I don't fully understand, and I'm the first to admit it, but I'll share with you what I was given this week. I was given a message from my guides about the importance of bringing two different types of energy together. The stones that are out here are made of sarsen stone, which is a compact sandstone, quartzite. It's basically sandstone that's been fused together geologically with more quartz. It's very hard, and it's got a very soft but very earthy, feminine type energy to it. And that's going to be represented by my sarsen dragon, because the earth currents we're often called dragon currents. So we have the sarsen stones. At Stonehenge we also have the Priscilla blue stones, which is going to be this little dragon. This type of rock is got a lot of metal content in it actually. It's a dolerite. It comes from the Welsh Priscilla Mountains, and in the green colour, and I'm going to have to look this up because like I said I only really recently researched this. It's got a metallic element in it which is titanium and iron oxide, plus hematite, which is iron oxide. So it's got quite a lot of metal in it, which I wasn't aware of till recently. This really doesn't have any. I've also found out whilst doing this research that we always think of Stonehenge of being just the sarsen stones and the blue stones, but there are actually 20 different types of stone that make up Stonehenge, and they've been brought from quite a long way around the country. So it's almost like we have some stone alchemy going on there that we need to explore a little bit more to understand why the energies are as powerful there as they are. The energies there for me are much more about starry energy. The blue stones is often thought of as being connected to the night sky. So for me it's more, the Avebury circle is more about grounding in the feminine or the lunar energies, whilst with Stonehenge we connect more to the starry energies. That doesn't mean to say we can't do both at both places, but it's just a different way of accessing it. So I just thought I'd share that with you as my two dragons come together, that there's some powerful alchemy that we need to do within ourselves as well. We need to thoroughly embrace what is going on with our starry side as well as what's going on with our earthy side. We need to embrace what's going on with our feminine side and our masculine side. And that's what the astrology of today is talking to us about. It's talking about bringing all of that together. As we come into that eclipse moment, we've got them in perfect balance. We are being held on one side by the moon and one side on the sun. So we're going to be focusing on that in our meditation. With our bloodstones in our hands, I'd just like you to close your eyes and relax as best you can in the space that we find ourselves in today. And just take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just breathing deeply and imagining your breath filling up your body with light. Breathing down into your lungs to expand them out, to stretch, to touch your ribs and your spine. And letting that light travel through your body. Allowing that light to dislodge and remove anything that's no longer needed. And as you breathe out, imagine letting go of the past. Imagine letting go of those blockages and fears that keep you and prevent you from moving forwards on your true path of sparkly brightness like the stars that you are. And And as you breathe in and out like this, know that you're making space inside your chest for the energy of your heart chakra to expand. And then as you breathe in, I want you to breathe down your body. Breathing in through your heart and down and out through your tummy. Breathing in through your tummy and down and out through your pelvis. And breathing in through your pelvis and down and out through the base of your spine. And then breathing in through the base of your spine. Imagine your breath flowing down your thighs to your knees, down your shins and your calves to your ankles, and across the tops of your feet to your toes. Until you can imagine your breath slowly soaking out of the soles of your feet to form a pool of light below you. In the centre of this pool of light, if you look down, you'll notice a plug. I want you to imagine that you can softly and gently remove this plug with your mind, allowing your light, your breath and your energy to soak down into the earth, and visualise it going down this plug hole in a spiralling vortex motion like water going down a drain. And feel the earth below you welcoming your breath, drawing your energy deep down into the earth. And as your energy soaks deeper and deeper into the soil, you can imagine it taking form and shape. Imagining your breath and this white light of energy slowly taking structure until they're like white roots of a little plant. And as these roots draw on the nutrients and the moisture in the earth, they grow stronger and thicker. These roots spread out below you until they're like the roots of a big old tree, holding you firmly in place to the surface of our planet. For this is where we live. This is the energy of our home. This is where we find our security and strength, and our roots provide our balance. I want you to use your roots to draw on the strength of the earth now, to draw all that nurturing support and love that comes from the earth up into your body, drawing it up your legs, up into your spine and up into your pelvis. And so that the nurturing energy of the earth can surround a seed of light within your pelvis, which is the essence of your being. And with every breath now, this seed of light grows and expands. See this light expanding to fill up your pelvis with light. And as it touches your spinal column, it infuses your whole being with light, lighting up your spinal column like a fluorescent light tube, sending a column of light through you, down below you and above you. Following that column of light down into the earth first, as it goes down beyond the depths of your roots. Send it down into the earth. Send it deep down into the rocks until you feel your light emerge out into the crystal caves, the place where the earth holds her knowledge and wisdom. For these are the power lines and the true earth grid. Feel that energy surge up through you before you allow your light column to expand further still, going down through the floor of the crystal caves, down through the very basement rocks of the earth's crust and out into the earth's mantle. Seeing your energy, this column of light travelling swiftly now through this space, down towards the core of the earth. And in the core of the earth, you will connect with the pulsing, radiating heartbeat, which is the love of Mother Earth. Allow your light column to connect with this core, and you will feel waves of love travelling up from the centre of the earth, up your column of light and up into your heart. Just breathe and allow. Allow this new pulse of energy that's flowing through you to find its own rhythm and balance within you with your own heartbeat. For as the two merge together, the energy of your heart centre will naturally expand to push your heart energy out beyond the boundaries of your body and to form a bubble of light around you that goes above your head and below your feet. This bubble of light is like a balloon. It has soft, malleable edges. It contains your energy and touches up against those around you without penetrating their space.